Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Health Talk. I am your host, Dr. Niru Prasad, with my background in pediatrics and emergency medicine, urgent care, affiliated with Henry Ford Health System, St. Joe, Oakland, and Beaumont. The theme of our Health Talk is very important topic. Joining us today as our guest speaker is Mumtaz Haque, who has been an educator, a principal in the public school system in medicine with a background in psychology. She had a radio talk show also, and she is an educator for the students. She has done a lot with this, in the field of education, and she's going to highlight our viewers about what are some of the aspects, how do you promote education, and how do you keep our youngsters in a right track. Good morning, Mumtaz, and welcome to my show.
Good morning, Niruji. Thank you for inviting me to your show. I truly appreciate it. And first off, I have to congratulate you on being honored by the Bloomfield Community TV as the producer of the year. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Congratulations. In addition to several other honors and awards that you have received.
Thank you. Thank you, Mumtaz.
Yeah.
I'm very privileged to be here for all these years. Try to do my best. Before we get started, can you give your introduction to our viewers? You have sent me something is so long. So just give your...
Well, I have been an educator, as you mentioned.
Right.
I started off as a teacher. I have a background in psychology. Mental health is really very close to my heart. And I have been an educator. I was a principal in the public school systems here. I am still an educational consultant, cultural consultant, trying to train the teachers, administrators. And I have my own radio show since 1995.
I know. We were together one time.
On WPON 1460 AM. Now it airs live in Chicago as well.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And I really bring up topics that people can benefit from. Along with the music, of course, music is something very therapeutic and good for everybody. We all know that.
Sure.
But in addition to that, I try to bring topics that really affect our community. And one of the topics that I brought up this past Sunday on my show was the power of maybe.
Okay, that's very good, interesting topic. So I heard about your segment. You had a radio show last Sunday, The Power of Maybe. I'm curious. I want to know more about what it is, Mumtaz, how it is going to affect, how is it going to influence everybody?
It does. It affects all of us, and especially the young people, our youth, really need to consider this. Well, we are all humans, and we live in a world of uncertainties.
Right.
Things happen, good things happen, bad things happen, and we just, when bad things happen, emotions really run high in our brains.
Right.
And what happens where we get anxious, we get depressed, and that affects our mental health, as you know. As a physician, you know that. And we have a habit, according to neuroscience, our brain has a habit of keeping negatives to itself. We cling to negatives. And it's very hard to get rid of those negative thoughts when something unexpectedly happens to us that we did not want to happen.
Right.
And so that's when negative things happen to us. And we become worried, we become depressed, we become anxious. The idea of maybe uncertainty embracing uncertainty is a way to go. This is what
yeah. So, Mumtaz, last year or year before, when that shooting happened in adolescents, I did a lot of research, study about the brain, the hippocampus, the cerebral cortex, who stores what. So, it's very interesting to know how the negative thoughts they overdo, and then the serotonin production is reduced, and then people get depressed.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of studies that I have done, and it is also published, and people can read it. And so you tell me, so what happens in stressful situation?
Well,
We are depressed. They say, how do you handle yourself?
Well, when things go wrong, unexpectedly, we are in a habit of, all humans are in a mindset to call it negative, consider it negative. Anything that happens that we did not want or expect to happen. So what happens is that we start thinking negative, and our brain really feeds on it, negative thoughts, and it keeps multiplying.
Okay.
So what happens is it's very hard to break that cycle of negative thinking.
Yeah.
So psychotherapists and psychologists and counselors in schools and even with the adults in a general
Even
situation.
in the senior citizens also, it is everywhere. They need help.
Right. So the concept of uncertainty, maybe we need to really think, maybe this was not supposed to happen. Maybe this happened for a reason that we don't know.
Exactly.
The unknown reasons. We don't know the unknowns. So that's the real challenge. We cannot negate the negative thoughts completely, right? But we can always say to ourselves, okay, stop. We can be in a neutral mode and say, maybe something this happened. It happened for a reason that we don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. Something else in the destiny why this happened, right? So adults. How do the adults incorporate maybe in the thoughts?
In their thoughts?
Now, before we talked about the children, students, but now how about people like us incorporate this?
And I have experienced it myself.
I know.
We all do, right?
Me too. Me too.
Something that as a principal, a teacher did not do well.
Right.
A student did not do well. A teacher is not teaching well, and we think that, oh, it's not a good teacher. Bad things happen. But if we really think maybe there was a situation that happened, and then maybe there is a possibility for positive outcome. So we have to really pause and tell ourselves to stop and to really give some place for future thinking, for unknown, for uncertainty. Maybe things. I'll tell you a story. Can I?
Yeah, sure, of course. And then I want to give you an example. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I actually read a story long back when I was myself kind of trying to correct myself in terms of negative thinking in my mind when it came. And we all have families. We all have our jobs. And
children.
So I read a story. There was a Chinese farmer whose only horse, ran away. So the neighbors came to him. All the neighbors came to him and said, "Oh, what an unfortunate thing happened! Your horse ran away. Very unfortunate." And the farmer said, "Maybe So the next day, the horse came back to the farmer with 7 more horses.
Oh my God, that was a blessing.
So the neighbors again came and said, "Oh my God, how fortunate! Look at you! Now you have 8 horses. You are so lucky."
Yeah.
And the farmer replied, "Maybe."
Maybe.
So the next day, the farmer's son was trying to ride a wild horse that came back,
Right.
and he broke his leg. So the neighbors that evening came to the farmer and said, "Oh my God, what a horrible thing happened. Very unfortunate, bad thing happened." And the farmer said, "Maybe."
Oh,
So the next day, what happened was that was a time of war, and there were people from the army going to villages to draft young people to the army to fight or to go to the war. And they came to the farmers to take the farmer's son. But because the farmer's son had his legs broken, they spared him. They did not take him.
Okay.
And so the same day, the neighbors came again, and they said, "Well, it's so fortunate. How nice. It's such a wonderful thing."
Maybe.
And he said, "You guessed it right.
Maybe.
Maybe."
Yeah.
So the lesson is that we don't know what happens
Right, exactly.
because of one thing that we think is a bad thing, unexpected.
Right.
So we really need to have a good relationship with uncertainty, because this world is full of uncertainties. We don't know the future. We don't know.
We don't know what's happening. So that's such a good story, Mumtaz. But how do you label good or bad? Can you give an label? How do you label a situation?
Well, when something happens unexpectedly, we call it a bad thing, right? Because we did not expect it. And that's where we are in the wrong path.
Right.
Because when we say something is bad, it's not bad, because a lot of things. Let me give you an example. Somebody loses their job,
right,
and they say, "Oh my God, such a bad thing happened." Everybody will say, but you never know. That job may not have been a good job for you in the long run. When
something else is.
So you could have lost the same job that you got in 2 months, and you could be fired. You could have a bad situation, accidents, anything.
So you label it. Good.
Yeah, we label it good or bad. And that's where the experts say that we should not. We should embrace uncertainty. Maybe it happened for a good reason. I remember when we were quite a few siblings, and my mom used to say, "Well, something would happen that we did not expect," and my mom would say, "Oh, don't. It happened, don't worry. Something you don't know."
Yeah,
why.
Right, yeah.
And I said, What? Why? and then she would say, "You don't know the future. You don't know. Maybe this is for a good reason."
And they knew, our ancestors.
Yeah.
What they taught. Things have changed now. The whole world has changed. Everything is computer related. Everything has its own. But whatever was done, in those days by our parents, grandparents, still that signifies a lot of value, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I always remember when I was young girl, I used to read all the holy books to my grandma, and grandma always gave me some prize, little prize. And I still remember, that if you help somebody, you keep somebody happy, their blessings go to you, right?
Yeah.
You agree with me there?
Absolutely.
And this is
absolutely.
what I teach my children. Be nice and kind. to everybody, right? So you have a music background. To tell us something about your music, your radio talk show.
Well, I bring a variety of topics on my radio show along with music. Music is basic, right?
Yeah.
I play Bollywood music.
Yeah.
And
very soothing when I hear them, yeah.
Yeah, so soothing music can really calm you.
Right.
Excuse me. And upbeat music really brings you into a mood where you feel better, right?
Right.
So music is very therapeutic. I have done several segments on music.
So many, yeah. I see, I listen to your music, and I tell you, it's very soothing, yeah. And especially with your psychology background, you know that it is soothing, right?
It is very, and upbeat music really brings our moods up, and it kind of takes us in a place where we feel comfortable, we feel motivated. Songs or music is motivating too. It motivates us to do things.
Of course.
I was driving to your TV station. You know what? I was listening to upbeat music because I really had to.
You're right.
Bring myself up to that level where I could talk and I could be happy.
Yeah.
So
with a psychology background, you believe in the holistic part of the medicine, where kids are depressed. Let us go back to our students. Like these days, students do so many things that they should not be doing, right? The basic thing is, my motivational lecture I had given a couple of times for the students is, motivate yourself. Stay motivated and try to achieve your goals. Yeah, focus straight. What do you have to say to our students?
Well, these days, and especially after COVID, the mental health issues have kind of skyrocketed in schools, and we don't have the resources to handle those and to really support those students. And again, if a student is depressed, if a student is anxious, we should not be, as adults, we should not be labeling them, but we should be providing them support. Now, from the students, what I would say to the students is that when things do not go your way that you expected,
right?
It's always not a bad thing. Things happen, and sometimes we consider them good, sometimes we consider them bad, but we do not know the long-term impact of even a good thing that happened.
Right, sure.
That could turn into something negative later on.
Yeah.
So I would say, embrace uncertainty. When negative thinking really keeps coming to your mind, peer pressure.
Yeah, peer pressure and also the social media. That has so
peer
much
pressure,
to do,
expectations from your school and for your, we have to keep working very hard. We have to not give up our hopes. We have to really have very high spirits and think positive. But there are times in everyone's life, including the kids, including the youth, when you feel that you're not getting what you expected.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And things are going bad. That's when you have to stop yourself and say, I am not encouraging my negative thoughts. Tell yourself stop.
Yeah.
And then if you cannot think positive, just put your mind into neutral. Say maybe things will happen later.
Again, remember the magic word, maybe.
Maybe, yes. Maybe things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And maybe things will get better. And if I did not do well on this test,
I will do it next time.
Next time I'll do it. Maybe this was to teach me a lesson, or to learn a lesson from this, that maybe I should not be keeping up late night. Maybe I should not be watching too much of, using too much of technology.
Sure.
So, I think maybe it's very powerful for all of us.
For all of us, because, this is post-COVID era, and I worked very hard during the COVID era, so many articles, so many TV shows I had about the COVID depression and all that. And the main thing is, have the desire. 3 things I told my students, in motivational. You have a desire in your mind. What do you want to become? You want to become a nurse, a doctor, whatever. So that becomes your passion. How do you get your passion to practical side? Then you set up your motivation. You motivate yourself. I want to be a musician, and I have to do this, and then you stay track. You be a musician. You want to be a doctor, yes. Computer science, yeah. Whatever you have, but stick to your decision and a straight line. Do you agree with me? No matter, everybody cannot be a professional. Whatever profession they pick up, just do your best. You agree with me?
I agree that everybody cannot be a physician. Everybody cannot be a radio talk show host. Everybody cannot be an engineer. But whatever your passion is, follow that. Yeah. And my thing is, my advice, my recommendation is that do it with passion, whatever really you love to do. And success will come. If you do not become successful the first time you try, keep a positive attitude. And if you cannot, your brain, because our brain is kind of wired to, our brain keeps, once you start thinking negative, it keeps coming. So the brain is wired to think negative. So that's where we have to put a stop and say, well, maybe it's for a good reason. Maybe it will happen next time. So possibilities, keep in mind the hope, the possibility that things will get better or things will happen differently next time. And I think that's what my recommendation would be.
Yes, think positive. And another thing, I learned, just by reading here and there, laughter is the best medicine, because when you laugh, you don't see your wrinkles, right? No wrinkles on the... I tell everybody, laugh and your wrinkles will be gone.
And it really it boosts your mood also. Yeah,
pleasant mood, greet everybody. Yeah. So you have all those experience with being a principal and all those. So what was very interesting? Anything else you'd like to share with from your being principal of the major school system?
But so I am very, civil rights is very close to my heart.
Civil rights, I was going to ask you because I read your...
Okay. And civil rights is very close to my heart. I was the chair of Michigan Civil Rights Commission, which oversees the Michigan Department of Civil Rights. And because I was the chair and I was a principal, and my colleagues, my commissioner friends, they told me, well, what do you see? And we were thinking about what topic, what kind of projects should be really, what is the need for the community? And I came up, I'm always very vocal about for others.
You are always the leader.
So I said, well, education, we have so many limitations, why don't we do? And they said, yes. So we did educational equity hearing across Michigan, from Traverse City to Wayne County, to Macomb County. We did in different counties.
Civil.
Education equity. What are the resources we need? What are the needs of the students, the principals, the school district, the parents?
We cannot forget the parents.
They're all part of this community.
Yeah.
And we had such a wonderful. We invited the principals, we invited the superintendents, parents, students, and we heard and the report is on Michigan Civil Rights website.
Okay, great. Mm-hmm. So they can just.
Yeah, anybody
look
can
at
go.
It about the civil rights, because parents play a significant role.
They do,
right? Besides from the student, is their parents.
Absolutely.
Who play a key role. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So many things you have done, and it was very hard to talk about each and everything. But I do like the civil right, and I do like maybe. Yeah.
Maybe because I have actually embraced maybe in my life.
Okay.
We all go through so many ups.
I'm going to do that too, Mumtaz. When I'm depressed. Maybe
it happened for a good, something we did not expect to happen.
Yeah,
it happened because maybe there's a good reason for that.
Of course. So one last minute keynote, what would you say? What advice would you give to our viewers, people who are watching this show, and your young generation, senior citizens?
I would say to all, including the youth, the middle-aged people, and the senior citizens, that we all need to, no matter age doesn't matter, we have to be believing in uncertainty of life. This world is full of uncertainties.
Right.
And things happen for a reason. We don't realize, we don't understand at the time, in the moment, when bad thing happens, we don't know. But we have to really think that happened for a reason, and that will disclose a little later. So with that in mind, we have to keep our hopes up. We have to have a relationship with the word,
right.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. So, Mumtaz, I really like to thank you today to come to my TV show. This show was with Mumtaz Haque, and the title is Practice of Maybe, Help in a Stressful Situation. And I'd like to thank our viewers for watching me today on Health Talk. I'd like to thank our camera crews for helping me prepare this wonderful tape. And until I see you again, have a safe and a wonderful winter.